Kars, from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, achieved what every villain dreams of. He became the ultimate life form. After using the red stone of Arja with the stone mask, Kars conquered the only weakness of his race, the sun. He became immune to sunlight, Haman, and basically any physical damage. His body contains the DNA of every organism to ever live on Earth, meaning he can shapeshift into anything and use any biological ability better than the original animal. He can grow wings, turn his hand into a flesh-eating squirrel, or harden his skin to be tougher than diamond. Magma didn't kill him. He just evolved a heat-resistant armor instantly to survive being submerged in a volcano. He doesn't need to eat, sleep, or reproduce. He is the pinnacle of biological evolution. The only reason he was defeated was that Joseph Joestar launched him into outer space. And even then, Kars didn't die. He froze solid in the vacuum of space and drifted forever. He's technically still alive, floating in the void, unable to die, and eventually just stop thinking. If he ever crashed back onto a planet, he would thaw out and be just as unkillable as before. You can't kill him, you can only banish him from the battlefield. Meruem from Hunter x Hunter is the pinnacle of evolution, born with a durability that makes the strongest human attacks look like paper cuts. The scary part about Meruem isn't just his strength, it's that he was biologically designed to be superior to all other life forms. When Isaac Netero, the most powerful human hunter, unleashed his ultimate attack, the Zero Hand, which dumps all of his aura into a single massive blast, Meruem barely had a few scratches on him. Netero literally had to detonate a miniature nuclear bomb. The poor man's rose just to stop him. And here is the crazy part. Meruem survived the nuke. His body was charred, and he was on the brink of death, but he didn't die instantly. His royal guards, Poof and Yuppie, fed him their own cells, and he not only healed completely, but evolved into an even stronger form, post-Rose Meruem. He gained the ability to fly and blast mountains with casual energy beams. The only reason he actually died was because the bomb was laced with a contagious, lethal poison that destroys you on a cellular level. It took a nuclear explosion combined with a biological weapon to finally put him down, proving that brute force alone is completely useless against him. Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z has a regeneration ability that is so broken it makes other regenerators look weak. Buu is a magical being made of a pink bubblegum-like substance that can be manipulated in any way he wants. You can blow a hole through his stomach, cut him into tiny pieces, or vaporize him into smoke, and he will just reform instantly. During his fight with Majin Vegeta, Vegeta used his final explosion, sacrificing his own life to blow Buu into smithereens. It looked like it worked, but seconds later, the tiny bits of Buu simply gathered back together and he regenerated without a single scratch. He doesn't have organs or bones to break, he's just pure chaos. To actually kill him, you have to obliterate every single atom of his body at the same time so that nothing is left to regenerate. Even then, his stamina is infinite. He never gets tired, he never runs out of energy, and he can fight forever. Kid Buu was so chaotic that he destroyed the Earth just because he felt like it. The only thing that finally put him down was the Spirit Bomb, an attack gathering energy from the entire universe, and even that was a struggle. If you miss even a single speck of him, he comes back. Saitama from One Punch Man doesn't have immortality, regeneration, or conceptual defenses, and that's exactly what makes him impossible to kill. The series makes it very clear that Saitama removed his limiter, which is the thing that defines how strong a being is allowed to become. That means his power doesn't scale normally, it simply increases to meet whatever challenge he's facing. The scary part is that Saitama has never shown a limit, never taken damage, and never been pushed to desperation. Attacks that threaten universes don't register as threats to him. Killing Saitama would require a level of force that the series itself refuses to define. He isn't protected by law. He's protected by the narrative premise that nothing is supposed to hurt him. Huak from Bleach isn't difficult to kill because he has extreme durability or endless regeneration. He's difficult to kill because death itself has to get his permission first. Huak doesn't fight in the present like most characters do. He fights in the future. His ability, the Almighty, allows him to see countless timelines at once. Every possible outcome, every victory, and every version of his own death. To him, the future isn't uncertain or theoretical. It's already written. What makes this terrifying is that Huak doesn't just observe those futures, he chooses which one becomes real. That's why he doesn't need to dodge or block attacks. He can let a sword pierce his body, let himself be killed, and then simply overwrite the future where that death mattered. The attack didn't fail because he endured it. It failed because Uak decided that a future where it killed him would no longer exist. Abilities that bypass durability, logic, or causality don't solve this problem because Uak has already seen those abilities succeed and calmly selected a future where they fail instead. He wasn't defeated because someone was stronger than him. He fell because his power was briefly disrupted in a way that could never be repeated, proving that as long as the future exists, Uak decides how it ends. Gilgamesh from Fate is terrifying for a completely different reason. He isn't immortal in the traditional sense. He can die. The problem is that killing him requires him to take you seriously, and he almost never does. Gilgamesh possesses the Gate of Babylon, which contains prototypes of nearly every noble phantasm in history, including weapons designed specifically to kill gods, concepts, and immortals. The scary part is that Gilgamesh doesn't need to use them correctly. He just floods the battlefield until something eventually breaks. Even when he's killed, like in certain routes, it's almost always because he underestimated his opponent or allowed it to happen out of arrogance. When Gilgamesh actually fights with intent, he has access to Ea, a weapon that tears apart the layers of reality itself. Ea doesn't destroy objects, it destroys the structure that allows objects to exist. Killing Gilgamesh isn't about overpowering him, it's about surviving long enough for him to make a mistake, which is something very few characters can actually force. Alucard from Hellsing is the definition of a character who turns death into a joke. Alucard doesn't regenerate because of healing. He regenerates because he has absorbed millions of souls, and every time he dies, one of them dies instead. You can shoot him, dismember him, vaporize him, or erase him, and he will simply reassemble himself moments later. The scary part is that Alucard isn't bound to a single form or location. He can exist as shadows, mist, familiars, or pure will. Even when he was completely erased by Schrödinger's paradox, the only reason he came back was because he learned how to redefine his own existence. Alucard is hard to kill because he understands himself. As long as he acknowledges his own existence, he can always return. Hadrian from Dies Irae is not just some insanely strong final boss character. He's a walking contradiction to the idea that death even matters. Hadrian is a god whose entire existence is built on selfishness so absolute that reality itself bends around him. He doesn't share existence, he overwrites it. The scary part is that Hadrian doesn't need to protect himself from attacks, because anything that exists separately from him is already considered inferior by default. His law doesn't defend him, it denies you. If something exists outside of Hadrian, it simply doesn't have the authority to kill him. When he manifests fully, all other gods lose their thrones instantly, not because he fights them, but because their existence becomes unnecessary. Even killing Hadrian doesn't work the way it should. In timelines where he is defeated, reality itself collapses afterward, because it was already rewritten to revolve around him. Hadrian isn't hard to kill because he's durable. He's hard to kill because the world stops functioning correctly without him. If you like this video, subscribe for more and turn on the notification bell.